Here's a London library that is different. Most of its 70,000 books are in a foreign language. The Polish Library in Kensington has struggled for existence and is still struggling ever since it was started in 1942. Today, it has become the cultural and educational centre for Britain's 150,000 Poles, many of whom are now British citizens. The library, which is visited by students from all over the world, has many valuable first editions. This is an autographed copy of a novel by Joseph Conrad. And here's an unusual history of England. It's the first ever written in Polish by a Pole. Printed here at one of London's most unusual presses, owned and run by a Polish-born husband and wife, Czesław and Krystyna Bednarczyk. Started in 1950, the press was created to publish the work of Polish writers, poets and artists in Britain. Since it began, it has produced hundreds of titles of all kinds, many on poetry, and a quarterly magazine in Polish on the arts. The biggest foreign community in Britain, the Poles even have their own daily newspaper, started in 1940. And this memorial near London's Northolt Aerodrome commemorates the many Polish flyers who lost their lives fighting with the Royal Air Force in World War II. The first Poles to come to Britain settled in Scotland in 1830. Władysław Banaszewicz, a leather manufacturer, was one of the 60,000 more who came with the Free Polish Forces in 1940 after their country had been overrun. Like Władysław Kot, another Scottish Pole, Mr. Banaszewicz does voluntary work for Glasgow's Polish community. He has several interests. He also owns and runs a Chinese restaurant in Glasgow. Today, only about 4,500 Poles remain in Scotland. Most of the community live in the south of England. Britain's principal Polish club is the Polish Hearth in South Kensington, which was started in 1940 as a centre for the Free Polish Forces. Today it has 700 members, a restaurant serving Polish dishes, recreation rooms and even a theatre.
Właśnie, już robię.
My nie będziemy pili.
My? Ładnie.
Całe towarzystwo.
Much of the Polish community's life centres around its churches. St Andrew Babola in Hammersmith is the more modern of London's two Polish Catholic churches. Polish architect and sculptor Alexander Klecki redesigned the inside of an old nonconformist church bought by the Polish community. He also created the altarpiece and the other statuary in the church.
I o jego powtórnym przyjściu na ziemię w charakterze sędziego.
Polish families come from all over London to this church, and there's a snack bar in the basement which provides hot drinks and a chance to talk after service. More Poles have settled in the Ealing area of West London than in any other part of Britain. Many have changed their jobs to make a living. Ealing grocer Stefan Rozwadowski was once a textile engineer. Now he sells Polish food to Polish housewives, and to some English ones as well. There are about 6,000 Polish families living in and around this area. You'll find Poles in almost every walk of life in Britain today. Mateusz Grabowski, for instance, is a chemist with one of the most unusual chemist shops in the country. At the back of it, he has a gallery in which he displays the works of modern painters and sculptors who might not otherwise have exhibitions. Under one of the arches of Hungerford Railway Bridge near Waterloo Station is the studio of Felix Topolski, probably the best known of all Britain's Poles. Topolski, who came to Britain from Warsaw in 1935, today travels the world in search of subjects. In 1953, he started Topolski's Chronicle, a bulletin in which he reproduces sketches he makes on his travels and his comments on what he sees. Today, there are few celebrities, from politicians to actors, from film stars to writers, who have not been painted or sketched by Topolski. Creating designs of a more practical kind is Professor Zygmunt Makowski, head of the Civil Engineering Department in the University of Surrey. Specializing in space structures, which are decorative in themselves, some of his designs are already in being, such as this radar tower for the Imperial College Research Station at Ascot. London's other Polish Catholic church is at Islington, and here, as in other centres, a morning school is held on Saturdays for British-born children of Polish families to teach them Polish history and geography, religion and the Polish language.
Ściana. Teraz dzieci popatrzcie, patrzcie wszystkie do książeczek. Helikopter leci, tak? Lata. Pociąg. A ryba co robi? Pływa. Ryba pływa. Co jeszcze pływa? Dziewczynka biegnie, samolot leci, a auto jedzie.
In this lovely old wren house near Henley-on-Thames is the Divine Mercy College, one of England's 2 Polish grammar schools. The other, for girls, is near Northampton. The college, run by the Polish Marian Fathers, has 140 boys between 10 and 16. The boys train for athletics in the big garden, laid out by the famous 18th century gardener, Capability Brown. They play football and cricket and volleyball too. Every Whit Monday, about 10,000 of Britain's Poles gather in the school grounds for a big religious service near this shrine. The 1,500 Polish Cubs and Scouts in Britain have the same activities as other Scouts, even if the Scout promise sounds unfamiliar.
Nieść chętną pomoc bliźnim
Nieść chętną pomoc bliźnim
i być posłusznym prawu harcerskiemu.
i być posłusznym prawu harcerskiemu.
Today's enrolment over, Scouters of London's Warsaw District Company relax at a game of chess. Though most of Britain's Poles take a full part in everyday life, many of them keep up their national customs. Here, for instance, at the Polish Young People's Club in South Kensington, Olga Żeromska's dancing group perform traditional dances. Today, many young Poles would feel much more at home doing the twist. For although Britain's Poles will always be proud of their heritage, they are more interested in marching into tomorrow than in looking back to yesterday.